Time does not always move in a straight line. Sometimes it bends, sometimes it shatters, and sometimes it delivers unexpected faces from one world into another. The stones have always carried secrets of journeys across centuries, secrets of love lost and found, and secrets of destinies yet to be written. But now the winds whisper of something new, something unspoken until this moment. A name emerges through the mist, unknown yet heavy with meaning. Julia. She does not belong to this land, not to this time. And yet the stones have brought her here. The Scottish Highlands breathe like a living soul. Mists roll across the hills, covering the land in a veil of mystery, and the air feels heavy, almost charged with invisible energy. A lone figure moves across the moor, her steps uncertain yet steady, the crunch of earth beneath her feet echoing in the silence. This is Julia. Her eyes search the distance with both fear and wonder, as if every tree and stone is a clue to a puzzle she has not yet solved. She is no stranger to the feeling of being lost, but this kind of lost is different. This is being misplaced in time itself. The air feels older, wilder, as though it belongs to another age. Julia pauses, turning back toward the circle of stones that now stand silent, no longer humming, no longer glowing, just ancient and cold. Her breath catches as she realizes the truth. Whatever force pulled her through has already left her behind. There is no return, not yet. She whispers her own name softly, as if reminding herself of who she is in a place that does not recognize her. The wind responds with a low whistle, carrying her voice into the shadows of the hills. She feels small, fragile, but also strangely chosen. The land stretches endlessly before her, beautiful but harsh, filled with danger she cannot name. She presses forward, each step fueled by a strange pull in her chest, as if something or someone is waiting for her. The sound of water guides her, a stream cutting through the wild grass, reflecting the silver of the rising moon. She kneels beside it, cupping the cold water in her hands, and stares at her reflection. It wavers, shifts, almost as if it does not belong to her. For a moment she sees herself dressed not in her own clothes, but in something belonging to another era, wool, leather, rough fabric stitched by hand. She blinks and the image is gone, replaced by the face she knows. But the moment is enough to unsettle her heart, far away, unseen by Julia. Another figure moves in the night, Claire. Her footsteps are calm but cautious, the instincts of a healer sharpened by years of survival. She does not yet know of Julia's presence, but she feels the land stirring, as if something has changed. Claire lifts her lantern, the warm light spilling across the path, and for an instant she stops, her breath caught in her chest. Though the night is quiet, she feels watched, as if the stones have given her a sign. She shakes the thought away, but deep inside, she knows the feeling is real. Something or someone is coming back. Julia, unaware of Claire's nearness, continues her quiet journey into the unknown. Every shadow feels alive, every sound sharper, and every heartbeat louder than the last. She does not yet know who she will meet, or what her place in this world will become. All she knows is this: she has crossed into a story larger than her own. And once the stones have claimed a traveler, nothing remains the same. The night deepens, and the highlands transform into a dreamscape of shadows and whispers. Julia moves carefully along a narrow trail that winds between tall grass and gnarled trees. The air feels older here, thick with the weight of stories untold. Every breath she takes seems to belong not to her lungs but to the land itself, as though the ground and sky are watching her, testing her. She doesn't yet know the rules of this world, but she senses it has rules, invisible and ancient, carved long before she was born. Her pulse quickens, not just from fear, but from the strange magnetism pulling her forward. It is as if her footsteps are not her own, as though the earth itself has chosen her direction. She remembers the moment before the stones pulled her through. The sound was like thunder and music woven together, a vibration that seemed to crawl into her bones. Her skin burned with heat, then chilled with frost, and in the span of a single heartbeat, her world vanished. She left behind everything she knew: her time, her home, her identity anchored in the ordinary. Now, in this vast silence, Julia feels as though she has stepped not just across centuries, but into the heart of a secret that was never meant for her. And yet, deep inside, she wonders if it was. The forest thickens around her, branches bending like arms reaching down to touch her shoulders. She keeps her pace steady, even as fear coils at the edges of her mind. Somewhere in the distance, an owl cries, its haunting call echoing across the valley. She startles, then steadies herself, whispering under her breath. Words of comfort, half prayer, half memory, anything to remind herself she is still human, still real, still alive. She has no map, no guide, and no idea who she will meet. But something tells her she is not alone. The truth is, she isn't. Not far away, Claire Fraser works in the quiet glow of a fire. Her hands move swiftly, skillfully, tending to herbs she has gathered, crushing leaves, mixing powders, preparing remedies. It is a ritual as familiar to her as breathing, but tonight, she cannot shake a restlessness in her chest. The flames crackle softly, but her mind drifts elsewhere. She has learned to trust her instincts. They have saved her life more than once, and now they whisper of a shift, a ripple in the fabric of time itself. She straightens, wiping her hands on a cloth, and for a brief moment she glances toward the woods. There is no one there, no sound beyond the forest's natural chorus, but her heart insists she is being called. Julia stumbles upon a clearing, where the moonlight spills like silver over the grass. The stones are far behind her now, but she still feels their echo, humming faintly in her chest. She kneels in the light, her hands trembling, pressing against the earth. She feels warmth radiating upward, as though the ground itself remembers her arrival. A memory not hers begins to flicker in her mind, a woman's voice, calm but urgent, calling out in warning, though Juliet does not recognize the words. She shakes her head, clutching her ears, desperate to silence the phantom sound. When it fades, she is left breathless, shaken, but more certain than before that her journey has purpose. As dawn edges closer, the world begins to stir with color. The dark veil of night lifts, and the highlands awaken with birdsong and the rustle of the wind through the heather. Julia's eyes widen at the beauty unfolding before her, but beneath her lies an ache of isolation. She is a stranger in this place, with no one to guide her, no proof of safety. Yet, as she gazes out over the valley, she feels the pull once again, stronger now, urging her forward. Claire, too, is restless in the morning light. She saddles her horse, her movements efficient, her face lined with questions she cannot name. She tells herself she is simply gathering more herbs, simply following routine, but the truth presses against her heart. Something or someone is waiting for her beyond the horizon. And though she does not yet know the shape of the face she will meet, she senses the encounter will alter everything. Julia takes her first steps into the valley, the sunlight warm upon her face. In the distance, beyond the rise of the hill, Claire begins her ride, her eyes sharp, her instincts alive. Two paths moving forward, two women bound by time and fate, neither aware that destiny is about to place them face to face. The morning unfolds slowly, as though the land itself wishes to delay what is about to happen. Mist lingers over the moors, thin ribbons of silver drifting between the heather. Julia walks with heavier steps now, her body weary from the night but her spirit sharpened by the strange pull she cannot ignore. Each sound feels magnified, the rustle of leaves, the distant trickle of water, the echo of her own breath. She senses she is drawing nearer to something important, though she cannot name it. The air tastes different, fresher yet weighted with meaning, as if she has stepped into a threshold where the ordinary rules no longer apply. Her thoughts drift to home, her real home, her true time. The streets she knew, the sounds of cars and voices, the simple comfort of light bulbs and warm blankets. They feel impossibly far now, like a dream she once lived but no longer belongs to. She presses her hand against her chest, willing herself not to crumble under the ache of loss. She knows she cannot go back, not yet. And deep inside, she suspects she was never meant to. There is purpose here, waiting in the unseen spaces. That thought steadies her, even as fear claws at the edges of her courage. Somewhere not far away, Claire slows her horse, pausing near a ridge that overlooks the valley. Her sharp eyes scan the land below, searching for herbs, but also for something unnamed. Years of living between worlds have given her a sixth sense, and today that sense burns brightly, warning and promising in equal measure. She dismounts, running her hand along the horse's neck to calm it, though she herself is unsettled. The breeze carries a faint sound too soft to be words, yet too distinct to be dismissed. She frowns, her heart picking up pace. There is someone out there. She cannot prove it, but she feels it in her bones. Julia, unaware of Claire's watchful presence above, enters a woodland path. The trees arch overhead, their branches weaving together like the vaulted ceiling of some ancient cathedral. Sunlight streams through the gaps, illuminating her path in shifting patches of gold. For a fleeting moment, she feels safe, wrapped in beauty. But then the silence grows heavy, as though the forest itself is holding its breath. She freezes, sensing movement behind her. A flicker of shadow, quick as a heartbeat, makes her spin around. There is nothing there, only trees, only silence, but she knows she is not alone. She whispers to herself again, a habit she has begun to form in this strange land. The words are small comforts, but they keep the fear from swallowing her. She presses forward, her footsteps crunching softly on the path. The further she walks, the stronger the pull becomes, not a sound, not a light, but a force that seems to live in her very blood. She cannot explain it, but it feels like being guided to someone. Back on the ridge, Claire catches a glimpse of movement below. A figure, faint but real, stepping carefully along the woodland trail. Claire's breath hitches. The figure does not belong. She can see it in the clothes, in the way the woman moves, hesitant yet determined. Whoever this stranger is, she is not from here, not from this time. Claire grips the reins of her horse, torn between caution and curiosity. She knows the danger of strangers, knows the risks of trust, but the sight of the woman pulls at her in a way she cannot ignore. She mounts again, urging the horse down the slope, her heart pounding with questions. Julia hears the distant sound of hooves and freezes. Her first instinct is fear. What if it is danger? What if she has been found by the wrong kind of people? She glances around, looking for somewhere to hide, but the trees offer no shelter. The sound grows closer, steady, rhythmic, impossible to mistake. She takes a step back, her hands trembling, her breath shallow. This is the moment she has both feared and longed for, though she does not yet know which it will be. The forest opens suddenly into another clearing, brighter, wider, the air charged with anticipation. Julia steps into it just as the rider appears from the shadows. For a brief moment, time seems to hesitate. The horse slows, the air stills, and two pairs of eyes lock across the distance. Julia, wide-eyed and breathless, and Claire, steady but astonished. Neither speaks, but in that silence lies a thunderous truth. They have found each other. The world seems to narrow, everything else falling away. Julia feels her heart slam against her ribs, every instinct screaming that this meeting is no accident. Claire studies her carefully, her healer's mind cataloging every detail: the cut of her clothes, the bewilderment in her eyes, the undeniable aura of someone displaced. Both women, bound by the stones, by fate, by forces greater than themselves, now stand on the edge of a connection that will change everything. The silence between them stretches, thick and unbroken, as if even the land itself is waiting for the first word. Julia's throat is dry, her body rigid, her mind screaming with a dozen questions she cannot ask. The woman before her radiates calm, but not the calm of ignorance. It is the steady composure of someone who has seen storms, fought them, and survived. Claire does not move at first. She lets her horse step gently closer, her eyes fixed on Julia, reading her like an unspoken page. Julia feels exposed, as though every secret she carries is laid bare in the gaze of this stranger who, somehow, feels more like a mirror than an enemy. Claire dismounts, her boots pressing softly against the earth. She holds herself tall, her expression measured, yet her heart beats faster than she allows to show. She knows this woman does not belong here. It is not just the clothes, though they betray her origin. It is the aura of dislocation, the dazed yet unbroken fire in her eyes. Claire remembers that feeling, the terror of standing in a world not your own, with no proof of safety, no way back, only questions with no answers. For a moment, she sees herself in Julia, and that recognition unsettles her more than she cares to admit. Julia takes a cautious step back, her hands trembling at her sides. She opens her mouth, but the words falter, breaking apart before they can form. It is Claire who speaks first, her voice firm but not unkind. "Who are you?" The question cuts through the clearing like an arrow, simple yet loaded with suspicion. Julia swallows, her lips parting, but the truth seems too heavy to confess. Finally, in a trembling whisper, she answers, "My name is Julia." The sound of her own voice in this world feels surreal, as if speaking aloud ties her more firmly to the reality she now inhabits. Claire studies her closely, weighing the name, the tone, the fear wrapped around it. "Julia," she repeats softly, almost to herself. "How did you get here?" The question is sharper now, urgent, demanding. Julia hesitates, her eyes flicking toward the horizon as though the stones themselves might still be visible. Her voice breaks as she says, "The circle." "The stones? I don't know how I didn't choose this." At the mention of the stones, Claire's breath catches. She knows immediately that Julia is telling the truth. Only one who has passed through them could speak of that strange power, that pull beyond explanation. The recognition chills her, but it also binds her to this stranger in a way she cannot escape. Julia sees the flicker in Claire's expression and clutches it like a lifeline. "You know," Julia says suddenly, her voice growing steadier. "You've been through it too." The words strike Claire like a spark in dry grass. She stiffens, torn between denial and honesty. Few people know her secret. Fewer still could ever understand. And yet here stands another traveler, another soul uprooted by time's cruel hand. Claire feels the ground shift beneath her, not physically, but within her heart. This meeting is no accident. It is another thread woven by the stones, by fate. Before she can respond, the forest seems to tremble with a new sound. Distant voices, shouts carried on the wind, rough and unfriendly. Julia flinches, her eyes wide with panic. Claire turns sharply, her instincts ignited. She knows those voices, the tone of pursuit, the promise of danger. There is no time for gentle introductions, no space for hesitation. She grabs Julia's arm, her grip firm. "If you want to live, stay close." The urgency in her voice leaves no room for argument. Julia stumbles but follows, her pulse racing, her mind spinning with the enormity of what is happening. She has crossed centuries, met a woman who already knows the impossible truth, and now she is running into a danger she cannot even name. Claire leads her swiftly through the trees, her steps sure, her movements decisive. She does not look back, but she feels Julia's presence behind her, fragile but unyielding. The voices grow louder, closing in, and the forest narrows into a path that twists and bends like a labyrinth. Julia's breath comes ragged, but Claire does not falter. She knows this land, knows its secrets, and she will not let the stranger be taken, not yet, not before she understands why the stones brought her here. Finally, they reach a ridge, overlooking a valley bathed in the golden light of morning. For a moment, the danger feels distant, muffled by the beauty before them. Julia collapses against a tree, gasping for air, while Claire stands tall, scanning the horizon. The silence returns, broken only by their breaths and the fading shouts. Julia looks at her, eyes filled with desperation and awe. "Why me?" she whispers. Claire turns slowly, her expression grave, her voice low. "The stones never choose without reason. And if they brought you here, then your story has only just begun." The words hang in the air, heavy with promise and threat alike. Julia stares at Claire, realizing that whatever lies ahead will not be simple, will not be safe, but will be inescapable. The two women, bound now by secrets older than either of them, stand together on the edge of a journey that will test their courage, their trust, and the fragile thread of fate itself. The screen fades. The music rises, and the last words echo like a prophecy. This is only the beginning.